And I'm recording.
I'm recording as well. I am recording as well.
Oh, you got me,
Shawn.
You got me into it.
Day.
I
did. I'm so happy.
Playing some Destiny 2. That's our pregame now.
He's playing Destiny with me. It's so great. And
Tiffle's
figure out
on
how
the
to
bed.
record the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
And then you could be like, hey, I'm died. I died.
John, don't jump so high. Oh, yep, you're dead.
There were so many times that I'd see, like, I would die, and then I'd see you just like sail over my body in midair, and I'm like, oh, he's gone. Oh, he's dead. And then all of a sudden, boof, boof, boof. You just get like sniped out of midair like a dove.
I haven't quite figured out the jumping in that game. There's the spot where, like, when you get your first legendary weapon, you're supposed to like jump from this. It's like an abandoned building. You got to jump from thing to thing. And it took me like an hour at least because I would jump and like it wouldn't keep going up, and then it would start going up too far. But I got it.
You got it. That's what's important.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. Got some gear, got some leveling up.
I have been trying to get you to do this for a year.
At least a year, yeah, because you'd mentioned about this time last year. You said, hey.
Because I was like, cross save is available.
Has it always been crossplay? Or crossplay was August?
No, I think it was. So it was this past summer that I was like, hey, this thing's going to be crossplay in August. So if you want to start playing, so that way when August hits, then we can play together and be buds.
Like a few months behind.
Oh, baby. I know what that means.
Yeah. I mean, it took the acquisition. When I finally realized it was going to be part of Sony, I felt comfortable. Like, all right, this isn't going anywhere. It's not going to break my heart. Destiny's not going to be like, hey, I'm going to go get some cigarettes. I know what that means.
Oh, that's a good point. You did wait until they announced that that the Sony bought them. That's a good point.
I don't know what that might have spurred my interest a little bit more. Plus, my internet's been pretty solid too, so that's kind of helped.
Nice. So now I don't even know what to cold open with now. I mean, I guess we just did.
Yeah.
But
well, now it's going to be like, I'm going to tell Tiffany, I'm like, hey, I got to go downstairs. We're doing a raid. We're doing a dungeon. And she's going to be like, no. I'm like, sorry, babe. Got to do it.
Yeah. People are counting on me.
She's not really a night owl, so it's not too big a deal.
The fate of the last city's in my hands.
The only concern I have with the game, like last night I played it till like 1 a.m. Like, that's, again, I think one of the reasons I like sports games, because like you kind of finish and you're done. With this, it's one of those, it's like, well, let me do a couple more things. And an hour goes by. You're like, well, it's already 12:30. Oh, wait. Does that say 2? Oh, shit, it's 2:30.
Oh, damn it.
Who needs sleep when you have caffeine?
And then you realize, oh, shit, I'm not 22 anymore. And then you're sleeping at your desk.
Yeah. Your boss says, hey, wake up. You're like, Warlock.
All right, Shawn, we're going to do a show. And it's going to be great. Ready? Here we go. We're going to do this. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. And today, Shawn, I have a treat for you. This is not history. It's not. I feel like I've been getting into this rut where I'm like, ooh, this would be a cool idea for a show. And it always ends up being like, hey, Shawn, here's this fucked up thing I read about in history.
Well, we had a good esports one last time where we talked about the different like weird sports.
We did, because I've been trying to kind of stray away from the history stuff. Yeah. I figured the Pope thing was funny. Like I couldn't not. They dug him up twice, for fuck's sake. You know?
Yeah. Well, and like the one time you're like, hey, did you hear about this camp in Germany back in like the 40s. I'm like, Richard, no, we can't talk about that.
No, I think I can make it funny.
No, you can't.
Let's just try it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll put it on Patreon. It'll be fine.
Oh, no, Shawn, it wasn't fine.
But it wasn't fine. He offended everyone that day. No, Shawn, I'm gonna give you the real. I'm gonna give you the real.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you the story behind the story. And we are not talking about Pamela and Tommy Lee.
Oh, have you seen that movie yet?
I haven't.
The series?
I haven't.
I was a little too young when that all was happening to like really understand what was going on.
I remember it.
Yeah. Have you seen the tape?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Your mother listens to this show. What are you doing to me?
I have the deluxe special edition of it. Sinner.
Hypothetically, I may have seen the video. You know what? And honestly, as far as like sex tapes go, I'm going to give it like a solid C.
Yeah, because
there's C plus.
There's not a lot of like sex in it, right?
Not really a lot of like sex. I mean, like they're naked a lot.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is like, oh my God, I love you so much. Oh, I love you too. Yeah. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, like.
It's not like the Kardashian one where she's blowing him and taking it in the bum and all that fun stuff.
Holy shit, does that happen? I haven't seen that one. Does that happen in that?
It's a straight up porn. Yeah.
Shawn, have you seen the Kardashian sex tape?
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Your mother listens to this show.
She got it for me for Christmas. It was in my stocking. I'm like, why is this open? She's like, well, I had to make sure it was the right one.
Yeah, I have. I have not seen the Pamela and Tommy Lee show. I am slightly interested because I like Sebastian Stan and I kind of like Seth Rogen. And who is playing Pamela?
That's a good question.
I do not know, but she looks so familiar. And I just feel like it's one of those things that I just can't remember the name. Like
Lily
I know
James.
No
you know who
idea.
Lily James is? She was in The Pursuit of Love. I bet that's where you remember her from.
Probably.
She was also in Cinderella.
So well.
She was in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh my God. Wait, did you just say Cinderella? Holy shit, Shawn, you just perfectly segued into what we're talking about today.
It's like we planned for it. We didn't plan for it.
No, the way 100%.
It's like we finished each other's
Cinderellas.
Whoa.
Shawn, I'm going to give you, I don't know if you know this, Shawn, but there are actual, not real life events, but there is definitely a darker side to fairy tales.
That I've heard.
And I am going to give you the skinny on what the darker side of a lot of fairy tales are.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's vampire kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not all Disney movies here, bud. Like shit gets dark.
Oh, I'm right. Well, yeah, you kind of talk like you're trying to get better with the history, but you're like, hey, guess what? I'm just going to ruin your childhood stories.
Yeah, because when you were a kid, you sat in bed and you were like, Mom, read me Cinderella again.
Richard, look at me. Do you think I'd ask my mom that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that totally happened. And I'm sorry.
I'm
gonna do it anyway.
That's how I became the man I am today.
All right, Shawn. I think I would be apropos if I did not start with Cinderella, since you perfectly segued from Pamela and Tommy Lee into that was good. That made me feel good. Since you perfectly segued from Pamela and Tommy Lee into Cinderella, we're going to talk about Cinderella first off. Okay.
So the real story of Cinderella, there was actually
real
mice
story
that sewed her dress. Her fairy godmother actually made her a pumpkin carriage
with the bodies of children.
Oh God.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's not what happened. Okay. Cinderella by the Grimm brothers is as grim as can get, according to the original story. Which, okay, I'm gonna give you like the actual like real tale or whatever. I'm putting that in quotes. And so here's my question: is what the fuck made Walt Disney like look at these stories and all their horror and and terrible badness and go, you know what? I should make a kids movie out of this.
That's a good question. Because
yeah, because really, like I think people look at this and be like, oh my God, it was so fucked up. Do you know what happened in the real Cinderella story? And I'm like, what's more fucked up? There was a guy that read that story and was like, I should tell this to children. I'll clean it up a little bit.
When did the fairy tales like come out? Like, had they already kind of like been soft versions of those out?
I mean, Grimm's Fairy Tales has been around for, what, like?
So yeah, just on Wiki, as much as we can tell Wiki, it was published in 1812 to 1858.
Yeah, so, if it wasn't for Disney fucking with copyright laws, it should technically be public domain.
I think all those are, like Cinderella and stuff. Because when they made them, they were public domain. And that's probably why they used them, is because it was up for grabs IP.
No, I think it was Walt fucking smoking weed. And he was like, oh my God, I should totally tell this story to kids.
Yeah.
It'd be fucked up.
What if it was 7 dwarfs? Yeah. Short people are cool.
Fucked up. Walt Disney was a fucked up guy.
Yeah.
And then he chopped off his head and froze it.
Is that true, or is it just an urban like that feels like the Grimm fairy tale? Maybe that's what happened. He made a deal with the Grimms, like they're like some kind of like supernatural beings. And he's like, you can use my tales, but when you die, we get your head.
Like Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. So if you say Walt,
it's like, give me your firstborn or your frozen head.
Oh, and that's why they keep all the copyright laws, because like what'll happen is somebody will get his head, and if they say his name, he'll be freed.
That's why they keep it under glass, so that way he doesn't hear everybody say his name.
He's in there saying, you hear,
well, no, it's liquid nitrogen, so he's more like.
And the problem is everybody comes in there and say, oh, look, it's Walt Disney. He's like, no, it's Walter Disnard.
Beetlejuice. Okay, Cinderella. Cinderella by the Grimm brothers is as grim as can get. According to the original story, Cinderella cries under a hazel tree she planted over her mother's grave, and a white dove comes to comfort her.
Oh, this is what it feels like. Or this is what it sounds like.
It's like a Mariah Carey song.
I was thinking Prince.
Okay, that's better. During the ball, when her stepmother and stepsisters depart, it is not a fairy, but the white dove that drops the dress and shoes for her.
God, Richard, in today's world, like there's a lot there. Like she'd be walking in and her dress would rip and her stepmom would walk in. She's like, what are you doing, stepdaughter?
God damn it. Are you sure you're not Disney?
We talked about that. Like now it's like, can you believe that's all there is? I listened to one of our episodes, like one of our top episodes, or not top, like it was one of our like 200 episode, which would have been from like 2018. And we were talking about it then, how it was just starting the step stuff was coming around.
Yeah. And
so it's been around for a minute.
That's all there is.
Yeah.
From what I understand though, and this is just pure.
It's the Chinese government. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Not that, but as far as I think this is anecdotal, but as far as I know, the whole like the stuff that you see on like the front page of Pornhub is all the algorithm is generated by region. And so the reason that you and I see a lot of like stepsis stuff is because of the area that we live in.
They always put out like the top searches by region.
Yeah.
That's always kind of interesting.
And it makes me sad.
I don't remember ours being like weird. Like I don't remember being
I think ours was like the fucking like step bro, step sis.
Let me look.
Stuff. I don't like it. Let me look. Oh God. Well, we've lost Shawn for the hour.
It's on the New York
Let me look
Post.
at this real quick. Step siblings. Oh God, Richard, I turned the safe search off.
Oh no, this is during election week. Alabama was big booty.
Now it got really weird.
Oklahoma likes cheerleaders, apparently.
Oh, see, nope, that's icky.
Iowa was yoga pants. North Dakota
that's not
was
bad.
Yeah, North Dakota was pumpkin smut. I don't know what that is.
What?
Connecticut was wedgie nudes. Louisiana was looking for Popeye's
I feel like we
porn.
could do a whole show on figuring out what the fuck pumpkin smut is.
That should be like, yeah, I'm going to put that in the back burner. That's another episode to go state by state and their top searches in Pornhub.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. During the ball, instead the white dove drops the dress and shoes for the ball was a 3-night affair and not one night. So the ball went over the course of 3 nights, which I think would have given the prince ample fucking time to ask the fuck your goddamn name is.
That's a good point. That's the dude at the club. That's a guy who's looking for a one-night stand. He's not looking for a wife.
Yeah, I didn't ask your name, bitch. That's what he's saying. Typical man.
I know, right?
The first night, Cinderella wears silk slippers, glass slippers the second night, and gold slippers on the third night. It is the gold slipper that the prince finds and not the glass slipper.
I don't feel like a gold slipper would be like very good because gold's pretty soft. So you wouldn't have very good like stability.
I mean, I would rather wear a gold slipper than a glass slipper.
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like glass slipper, like, yeah, it breaks and, like you've lost a foot.
Yeah. Well, and we all know, like, most women, when they go out wearing high heels, like, those heels don't make it home. They take those things off.
Yeah. By the end of the night, like, they're in their hand.
Yeah.
100%. When he visits every maiden in town, Cinderella's eldest sister cuts off her toes to fit her feet into the slipper.
Oh, shit. That's extreme.
Yeah.
She's like, no, the blood was there the night that we danced. Don't you remember?
Because I danced so hard. There's very, very, very tall heels on these slippers. On these slippers.
How hot was this prince to be like, man, you know what? I would cut my toes off for you.
Right?
It'd be one thing if she's like, I'd suck your toes. You'd be like, oh, yeah. It was like, I'd cut my toes off.
You can't because I fucking chopped them off.
Oh, that's why he didn't take her. Because he's like, man, I'm a toe licker.
No. See, because here's the thing. The prince, it didn't notice that this crazy oldest sister cut her fucking toes off.
He did once around, look at her. He's like, yeah, you're good enough. Let's go.
The prince is dumb enough not to notice that she cut her toes off and is informed of it later by the doves. So the doves are like, hey, stupid, she doesn't have any fucking toes?
He's like, yeah, it was weird when we're playing footsie under the covers. Actually, the dove showed up, and you're like, hey, Ginderella, the girl that you brought home? He's like, yeah, wait, who? I didn't ask her name. I just brought her home.
How the fuck do you not notice that, like, they're in a shoe that's full of their own blood?
Well, yeah, because she would have had to do it pretty quick, too, right? Like, and in that moment.
Right? She's like, oh, shit, I got to fit. Hang on, I got to go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, the slipper fits. Now take me to a hospital.
So he rushes back. So the doves are like, hey, stupid, that's not the girl because she cut off her toes to put the goddamn shoe on. And he's like, oh, okay. So he goes back, goes back to the house. And he's like, hey, something's not right here because
fool me once.
On the carriage ride back to the castle, this girl passed out and found out she cut off her toes. Also, there were a couple birds that talked to me and told me that she fucked up. Okay, so the second sister, the other stepsister, cuts off her heel. She cuts the heel off of her foot to fit her foot in.
That seems more like
The
painful.
slipper.
Like cutting your heel off. Because that feels like you're getting to like the Achilles area. Like you're not even going to be able to walk. And she's going to be like, they fit. He's like,
Right?
oh, great. Let's dance. You were such a great dancer. She's like, yeah, I was.
I'm so wasted.
White girl wasted.
Okay, so girl cuts off her toes. He's like, oh, and he comes back and he's like, wait a minute, fool me once. So the second girl cuts off her heel and sticks her thing in the shoe. Does he notice? Does the prince notice that this girl cut off the heel of her foot?
I'm guessing he
to
did.
fit into the shoe. He did not, Shawn.
Fool me once.
He did not.
Shame on you.
And so he puts girl number 2 in the fucking carriage and fucking took off again. And again, the doves fly over to the prince and they're like, hey, stupid, you did it again. This girl
I did
doesn't have any
another
heels."
boo-boo.
So finally, he goes back the third time and finds Cinderella. Cinderella puts her foot in, and then he's like, okay, you're totally it, right? And then he looks at the birds and he's like, I got it right this time, right? And the birds are like, yeah, you fucking moron.
That's why I'm the prince, smartest guy alive.
I'm a prince. No, get in the carriage. I'm just looking for somebody to get in the fucking carriage.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I just don't care.
I mean, to
Like,
be fair, like after you said what, like 3 days he was searching, like how many women he brought home that cut pieces of their feet off to put it in there?
Right?
She walks in, it's just a room full of toes.
Yeah. It's like the 10th plague of Egypt. The whole land is filled with women that like don't have feet anymore because they've just been horribly mutilated.
He's like, I was
All like, and it's all self-imposed.
He's like, I was totally just gonna bang your older stepsister, but these fucking doves wouldn't shut up.
So he finds Cinderella and then they get married. Cinderella and the prince get married.
And live happily
But
ever
Shawn,
after.
it is not happily
Oh,
ever
God.
after. Because at the wedding, Cinderella's sisters try to like convince Cinderella that they're not that bad.
Oh, yeah.
So the stepsisters are like, hey, Cinderella, we're sorry we were so mean to you. Like, but we're sisters. So, you should totally hook us up. Right. But the doves, remember the doves, the smartest fucking things in the entire goddamn story. The doves fly down and peck out the eyes of the stepsisters.
Are we sure these weren't ravens and not doves? Because we talked about ravens before,
That's
and
a good
ravens are
point.
like loyal. They're like, we love you, Cinderella. No, we love you, Cinderella. Soon the kingdom will be ours. You mean mine? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. So these doves fly down and peck both the sisters' eyes out, and then it's happily ever after. So the happily ever after is that Cinderella basically spends the rest of her days living with a complete and utter moron, and she has 2 sisters that are now blind and have no feet.
Can you imagine them on their like next date? Like their eyes are pecked out, they got patches. And the guy's like, wow, like, so you lost your eyes, huh? Like, you got all the rest of your appendages, right? Like, well, funny story.
Oh, God, you're not one of those millions of women in the kingdom that chop their feet off, are you?
Could you imagine though, like, she married, like, the older sister marries some guy, and years down the road, they're getting in some fight. He's like, well, you never cut your toes off for me, you fucking bitch. Slams the door. She's like, hey, get back here.
What's he got that I don't got? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Money, a castle, title, royalty,
Hot water, food.
plumbing. Yeah. So happily ever after, which, Okay, so question is, why didn't Disney go with that story?
Self-mutilation's kind of a topic that's a little taboo. That's a good question. I don't know who wrote Cinderella in terms of for the Disney.
Because because really it sounds like the only thing he really left out was the fact that the prince was an idiot and that every woman far and wide chopped their fucking feet off. And there were birds that, because I'll tell you what, I think like Fairy Godmother would be dope as fuck if she came down in her little bubble and then like stabbed fucking Drusilla and Grisilla in the eye.
Oh yeah.
Like, fuck you bitches, stab, and like fucking like totally just beats their ass.
Yeah, I'd like to see that old lady do that.
Right at the end.
Sends them on their way. Then you get the post-credit scene where they're at their date, missing their eyes.
You're cute, right? Yeah, totally cute.
How are you at judging feet? I'm excellent. Perfect.
You can push a wheelbarrow around, right? Because I'm going to sit in it. All right, Shawn, next tale. Would you like to hear about Hansel and Gretel?
Yes. So this is a tale about a brother and a sister go in the woods, meet a witch. The witch is fattening them up because they think that she's nice, but she's not nice, Richard. She wants to make some food out of these kids.
Yeah, she wants to make fucking kid pie.
Yeah.
But then the kids are like, fuck you, bitch. And then she ends up in the goddamn oven.
And then they have witch pie. There's a new movie. It's kind of like that. It's called, I think it's Tales We Tell in the Dark or something like that. It's about a kid who gets kidnapped by a witch. And he has to tell her a scary story each night or she's going to kill him. It's for kids, but it's really not for kids. And we watched it with...
I think I've seen something about
it's
this. It seems familiar.
It's interesting, but yeah, we kind of watched it with our son probably a couple years too young because now he's scared of a candy witch.
I get that. I think I did that. I accidentally did that with my kids with one of the Harry Potter movies where it got kind of like... It like took like a hard left really quick, and I thought that they could handle it, and they could not handle it. So, oops, they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I know you talk about like having all 5 kids or all 3 kids in the bed. Like you got 5 people, like it's a little much, but like we keep saying, like the oldest one's, in her early 20s, she should be, sleeping in her own bed soon.
God willing.
I'm worried about that, Richard. My son still sleeps in our bed. He's going to be there till he's like 18.
I think you really only have to worry about it for the last 4.
Yeah, when he turns 14.
Yeah. Because then all of a sudden you're going to wake up and the bed's going to be moving and you're going to be like, what is oh no.
Go to your room. I'm too scared. Well, I'm the one that's scared right now.
No, I'm scared. According to the Grimm brothers' tale, Hansel and Gretel are the brother and sister pair whose stepmother decides to leave them in the forest when there is a famine. So that's where we start off.
The stepmother?
Where their stepmother leaves them in the forest because there's famine. There's famine in the land, and so she's like, well, fuck you kids, go to the woods and find your own goddamn dinner.
Man, like wouldn't you, I feel bad. Like it's like, hey kids, go out in the woods and I mean you're probably gonna die, but it's not my problem. Like shouldn't you just like throw them off a bridge at that point? Like bloop.
I mean you would think. Like it seems almost more humane. Her main purpose is that they get lost and the family has enough to eat. So she's basically like she's basically like pulling like a, driving like people drive dogs and cats out into the fucking country and just like dump them on the side of the road. Yeah. So basically that's what she's doing with her kids.
Yeah, and that's horrible too with pets. Like that's how we got our recent one because somebody dumped them.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's basically like, well, I mean, it's better than killing them. It's like, no, probably not.
No, not really. Like best case scenario is and when I say best case, I mean there's a very slim chance that whatever farm is around takes them in. More likely scenario is they get killed by a wild animal, or they get killed by the farmer brings them in and then takes them to the vet, and then they get put down,
or they starve to death, or they get hit by a vehicle, or like one in like 100 horrible ways to go.
Yeah, exactly.
But that person drives home with a clear conscience.
Because ignorance is bliss, Shawn. But in this case, this is what this mother decides to do with her kids. Like, I'll just take them out to the woods and then I'll leave them there. That's the plan.
And this time too, Richard, like it's not a vehicle. Like it's not like, here you go, kids. Vroom. It's like, here you go, kids. All right, here, click, it's like, Mom, where are you going? Like 40 minutes later,
I'm gonna go drink milk.
We can still see you.
Can we have milk? No. There's a famine. This is the only way I could get milk. They overhear their stepmother and father. Oh, they overhear their stepmother. So they overhear her saying that this is what she's going to do. So the stepmother's like, hey, stupid. This is probably Cinderella talking to the prince. Hey, idiot. I'm going to drag your kids out into the middle of the woods and leave them there because I'm fucking hungry.
And it's like, well, I don't know about that. It's like either that or no blowjobs ever again. He's like, fuck those kids.
Yeah, fuck them kids. That's what he said. And so the kids overhear this whole conversation. And so the kids are like, hang on, I got a plan. And so they gather white pebbles that they string together to find their way back.
Smart.
Yeah, so the kids are like, hang on, like this bitch isn't getting one over on us. So they find their way back. The stepmom casts them out a second time. Oh, shit.
Like, these are resourceful kids. Like, they'd actually probably provide pretty well.
Yeah, these kids made it all the way home with the pebbles. And the mom's like, God damn it, I thought I got rid of you. And then took them out to the woods again.
Again, like, second time.
And it was probably like checking their fucking pockets for rocks and whatnot at
this point, like, you know, they made their way all the way back. They're hungry. They're even more hungry now. You're wasting your time and your horse energy to go all the way out the woods to drop them off.
So they keep roaming, and then they reach a witch's house made of gingerbread and cake.
You know, I always remember that, and it never made sense to me. So I'm like, that stuff wouldn't last very long.
No.
There'd be ants all over.
However, I've built a gingerbread house, and it seems like you spray it with hairspray, and that shit lasts for fucking decades.
True. Yeah.
You know what they should have built it out of? Macaroni art. Because that shit could last for centuries.
That's true. As long as you didn't get like a hot, steamy rain, it would last forever.
Yeah. Like the Tower of Babylon.
You ever stepped on macaroni?
Build it out of macaroni
Have you ever
art.
stepped on macaroni?
Huh?
Just like stepped on it? It hurts.
Yeah.
Like people talk about Legos, like, oh my God, they're the worst ever. No, it goes D4 dice, macaroni, then Legos.
D4 dice all the way. The witch is a cannibal who eats children that cross her way. She intends to eat Hansel and Gretel too. However, they outsmart her and burn her alive in her oven.
Do you think that's an allegory for that's actually their stepmom?
I mean, maybe. I think it's an allegory of like, hey, keep an eye on your kids or they'll stick you in an oven.
Well, I think like they get back and like there's so much more food because they've been gone longer. And then, like, their stepmom's like, listen, I took them out to the woods twice. Guess what? We're going to eat them.
Yeah, we're just going to fucking eat them. Fuck these kids.
Like, you think, like, you get to a point.
And the guys, and then, meanwhile, the dumb prince is like, well, I don't want to eat my own children. And she's going to be like, no blowjobs ever again. And he's like, fuck them kids.
I guess I'll eat a cheek.
Where's the salt?
Yeah, you think about just, like, the Donner Party and, like, the stories of stuff like that where people had to do that to survive. Like, creeps me out. Cannibalism's one of those like on the top of my list of like freaks me out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. I mean, who does? I don't know why I said that like it was some kind of revelation statement. I would
no, I swear. I mean, if I was like, you know, stuck and you know on the road and you know the Uber Eats was running late, I need a tow. Yeah, I need a tow. Maybe a heel.
Yeah, I mean. Any port in a cannibal storm, am I right?
Like, what kind of seasoning do we have in the car? Do we have a hot plate?
All right, Shawn. Next, we're gonna visit the land of the Little Mermaid.
Oh, so Little Mermaid, classic tale. One thing that's cool. Under the sea. Under the sea.
All right, that's enough. We don't want to get DMCA.
I've been reading the Witcher books, and the first two are just like short tales, but there's a lot of like grim fairy tale stuff kind of baked in there. And they do the Little Mermaid story. So basically, it's like this prince who like is in love with this not Little Mermaid, but in love with this mermaid. But mermaid speak is like not like common English, I guess you'd call it. So the Geralt has to be the mediator, and the way so the guy that reads the book does a great job. And so like when the mermaid, when she's talking in her language, it's very sing-songy. It's like, please tell me what the prince is saying. And then he does the Geralt voice. He's like, the prince would like to tell you that he loves you. It's good stuff. Made me giggle the whole time. So that's what, when he said Little Mermaid, that instantly first thing pops in my head.
Well, now you're going to get the real on the Little Mermaid.
She had a fish top and a human bottom.
Yeah. Nobody and everybody was like, wait, this is not how it works. Really? Because I think that's how it should work.
How do they reproduce?
Oh, she's so beautiful.
Yeah, have you ever thought about that? How do mermaids have sex? They're just like...
Right? It's like salmon. Like she lays the eggs and then the guy like jerks off on them, right?
That's how fish do it. She like digs a little hole, drops her eggs. Man comes by and goes. Nature's gross.
So Little Mermaid lives in an underwater kingdom with her father, her grandmother, and her sisters. Every year, post their 15th birthday, the sisters take turns once a year to visit the surface and see the world outside. Once the Little Mermaid's turn comes, she rises to the surface and witnesses a shipwreck. She saves the prince from drowning and promptly falls in love with him. The prince is, however, unconscious, and when the Little Mermaid leaves him ashore on the steps of a temple, a young girl comes out from the temple, and the prince thinks that that girl is the girl who saved him.
He was like, oh my God, I just thought I got kissed by a fish.
The Little Mermaid is sad but goes back to the sea. She then visits a mermaid witch who agrees to give her a potion which will change her tail into feet. However, she must part with her tongue. She will be the best dancer in the world, but her feet will feel as if they are being pricked by glass shards every minute. Yeah.
She's out there like, booty, rocking everywhere. And she's like, ow, 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 ow.
She's twerking is torture.
And then like the prince,
she puts the work in twerk. You know what I mean?
And the prince gets back. He's like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Let's do a little foreplay. And she's like, it's like, oh fuck.
It's fine. I don't need it. Oh.
Nope. Don't like it. Zip.
Also, she will get a human soul only if the prince loves her and marries her. Otherwise, she will turn to sea foam.
Yeah. Do you imagine, like, you roll over, you just hear, because she turned to sea foam.
Yeah. Oh, no. She reaches the shore and drinks the potion and now has 2 feet and legs. She is found by the prince and he is mesmerized by her beauty. They become fast friends and she accompanies him everywhere and dances for him. And again, like fucking, it's torture for her. But they don't mention that. One day, the king announces that he has arranged for the prince to marry a princess from the neighboring kingdom. The prince then reveals to the Little Mermaid that he loves the girl from the temple as he thinks she saved him.
Oh, shit. And she can't tell him. She doesn't know how to write.
Yep. By a twist of fate, the princess he is destined to marry is the same girl.
Ooh. Oh, so it worked out for the prince. He's marrying the girl that he thinks saved him and he fell in love with.
Right. They get married and the Little Mermaid is heartbroken. When she is about to turn into sea foam, her sisters come to her with a dagger.
Oh, shit.
They tell her she must stab the prince and let his blood flow over her feet. she will then get back her tail and become a mermaid again.
Oh, man. What do they say? Like, nothing's worse than a woman scorned?
Right? Like, everything was all fine and good, and then the sisters show up and like, the blood must flow.
Do you want your fishtail back?
Kill him.
Where do I have to stab him?
Become one with the sea.
Stab him in the dick. Stab him in his triton.
She goes to kill the prince, but she can't because she truly loves him. Instead, she falls into the sea and dissolves, not into sea foam, but becomes one with the atmosphere as a reward for her true love.
Aw. So she's become like Mother Nature.
If she serves humanity for another 300 years, she will rise to the higher realms.
Oh, shit. When was that printed? Let me look. 1722. Huh. She should be coming back soon.
So be nice to the sea foam. That's all I'm saying. And maybe the sea foam should be nice to you.
Because the last time I was in the ocean, Richard, I'm pretty sure I felt some tingling in some areas I usually don't feel tingling. It was jellyfish. I got stung by jellyfish.
Looks like we got time for one more. Would you like Sleeping Beauty?
Ooh.
And it was Sleeping Beauty?
Sleeping Beauty.
Okay. So once again, the story has two versions.
Soup.
This story has two versions. In the first version, everything is nice and happy, and the princess wakes up when the prince kisses her, but that's not the end. The prince...
It's like, ew, oh my God,
ready?
No.
Plot twist, the prince has an ogre for a mother.
Oh, so is this kind of how they got Shrek?
Maybe, or maybe this is where the whole mother-in-law thing came into play.
Talking about that, like
she's like, oh my God, my mother-in-law's an ogre.
I luck out. Like, I've got a great mother-in-law. Rich is like, no comment.
No comment. Now, he knows his mother will never accept the princess, and he carries on his affair in secret.
Ooh.
So he is banging Sleeping Beauty behind his ogre mom's
She's awake,
back.
though, right? Like, he's not banging Sleeping Beauty while she's sleeping, right?
As far as I can tell, she is awake.
I mean, everybody, like, rolls over when the wife is laying there, and you're, like, kind of poking around hoping. Spoiler alert.
But you wait until they wake up.
Yeah, but spoiler alert, when they wake up, it doesn't end well.
How it's
it doesn't
done.
end well for you.
Yeah, that's how it's done in polite circles.
You're like, oh, you're awake. Hey, you want to have sex now, babe?
The princess has borne him a son and a daughter. When the time for the prince to ascend the throne arrives, he brings his family to the castle. The ogre mother banishes the princess and the children to the forest and orders the cook to cook them and serve them to her as lunch.
So the prince's dad was an ogre chaser.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, Dad, how do you?
He's looking for that ogre cussy.
Yeah. He's like, Dad, how do you do it? I mean, Mom's nice and all, but an ogre? He's like, man, they'll do things.
I got big pillows. Just lay it on top. And so the ogre mother sends the princess and the kids away, and then tells the cook, like, hey, you're gonna find a lady and two kids in the woods, and I want them for lunch.
There's a lot of like eating of children in these. That seems like a common, at least two of the four stories. That's a common thread.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
You know, it's one of those things like if your uncle were the Grimm brothers, and it's like, all right, we're going to send you to your Uncle Grimm's. Like, that seems like a horrible idea.
No, he's going to eat us. Oh, that's just stop. Don't tell fibs about your uncles like that. No, really, he wants to bake us in the oven.
And then they show up. It's like, where'd the kids go? Oh, no, they ran off in the woods.
It's okay. We'll follow them with these rocks.
Hey, do you want some ribs?
Oh, no. Okay, so on day one, the cook replaces the boy with a lamb.
All right. Oh, so the cook is like, I ain't cooking no kids.
Yeah, cook's like, fuck you, I ain't cooking kids. The girl is replaced by a goat meat on day two. and the ogre never realizes the difference. On day 3, the princess, who is heartbroken over her children's death, offers to slit her throat.
Oh, damn. It seems like
because the princess thinks the kids are dead.
But at that point, it's too little, too late, right? Like she thinks they're dead, so she's like, "Ogre mother-in-law, I will slit my throat.
I'm gonna kill myself. I hate it here. I'm gonna kill myself."
Yeah, and ogre mom was probably like, "Yeah, go ahead, do it."
Okay, but the cook reunites her with her kids and serves the ogre red deer cooked in sauce for like the princess.
So
the ogre.
So did the mother? So did the mom eat the food thinking she was eating her kids?
No, the ogre ate the food thinking it was the kids.
So the ogre mom's like at the head of,
and then the princess thought the kids were dead, and the cook's like, "No, they're right here. Shut up."
So the mother,
and then on the third day, the cook gives the ogre deer.
Gotcha. So the mother-in-law ogre's at the head of the table eating this while the mom's at the end crying. She's like, "Oh, your kids taste so good. Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 in my belly.
I'm not gonna eat this. I'm gonna throw it on the floor." Nope, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna eat it because I'm an ogre.
The ogre soon finds out that she's been tricked and prepares a tub filled with vipers and foul creatures.
Oh, what could be more foul than a viper?
However, before she can punish the cook, so her plan was to fill this tub with vipers and like probably spiders and shit like that, and then throw the cook in there. But before she can punish the cook, the princess and the children and the prince, who apparently was gone for like 3 days, because, sent out the fucking kids and whatnot. And the ogre throws herself in the tub.
Oh, damn. Well, that's probably just like a hot tub to her. It's like, oh, these spider bites really loosen up the muscles.
No, the ogre throws herself in the tub and is consumed.
Oh, oof. Those were some foul creatures.
So I think what happened is that the kids showed up and then pushed the ogre into the tub, and then the vipers and whatnot ate the ogre.
So another common theme where the kids come to the rescue and push whatever foul thing into something that consumes them.
Mm-hmm. There is another version of Sleeping Beauty that says that instead of a Prince Charming that comes to find Sleeping Beauty, it is an already married king that visits the sleeping princess. He finds her alive and unconscious, and even in that state, oh no, this goes bad. I don't know if I want to finish
this. A little date rapey, does it?
It gets a little rapey. Okay, so the king does a terrible thing,
and she wakes up and he's like, leaves. "Oh shit, I thought you were dead." It's like, "Oh, okay, wait, huh? How does that make it better?"
Punch. Go sleep. So she wakes up. Oh no, while she's sleeping, Shawn, Sleeping Beauty becomes pregnant and has twins.
Damn. Well, they're Hansel and Gretel, their names?
The whole time she is still sleeping.
I've actually, like, people who are in like a coma or like a state like that happens sometimes. Like in hospitals and stuff. I don't know how often that happens, but I mean, it's kind of like Kill Bill. Buck shows up and he's like, "My name is Buck and I like to party."
So she has the 2 kids, again, asleep. The son, like, sucks on the mom's finger, like puts a finger in her mouth and sucks on it, and ends up sucking out the poison from the spindle.
Okay.
So that wakes her up. So now she wakes up and she's like, "Holy fuck, I have 2 kids."
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. So she wakes up and is confused on seeing her 2 children, but begins to care for them. So she's like, "Okay, well, I guess you're mine now." So one day, the asshole king comes back.
Because he owes child support. That's what it was.
She's awake, and then she forgives the king and accepts him. He stays for a few days and then goes back to his kingdom. His wife, however, suspects something is amiss and realizes the king has been happily sleeping around. Infuriated, she asks Sleeping Beauty's children to be brought to the castle and cooked.
Oh, Jesus, more cooking of kids? It's not even their fault.
Right?
Cook your husband's dick.
However, the cook saves the day and hides the kids. She then orders Sleeping Beauty be brought herself and burnt alive.
Yeah, how dare you, lady, be sleeping there all seductively.
Nice. Again, the king is missing from the scenario. So the king... so Sleeping Beauty gets saved and burns the queen instead. Yeah, so the king shows up, burns the queen instead, so burns his wife, and then marries Sleeping Beauty, and they live happily ever after.
Yeah, except every time she's like, when I was sleeping, actually, that'd be the scary thing. Like, anytime she falls asleep, like, she's sleeping on, like, needles. She's just like, what was that?
Well, also, every time he takes off, he's like, is he going to go fucking get all date rapey with another sleeping princess somewhere? Fucking crazy.
These are weird fairy tales. And it's the funny thing is like these were legitimately for kids.
Right? Like, and then they put them in the oven and they all died. All right, sweet dreams.
Happily ever after. Now remember, kids, if we run out of food, I'm gonna send you in the woods. Actually, you know what? As like kids get older and they're like taking all your food out of the fridge, it's probably not a bad idea to teach them that. They're like, I'm hungry. Yeah. It's like, oh, well, you should have ate all your dinner.
Just occasionally open the oven door so that way you're asserting dominance.
Like you measure them and then you go to the oven and be like, still fits. Wait, what do you mean? Nothing. Yeah.
What do you got that big roaster
Go ahead and
for?
Eat that last piece of pizza. Go do it. Well, Richard, I've known a little bit about these fairy tales. Like people talked about the Grimm fairy tales, but I didn't dive deep into them.
You didn't realize how grim they actually were?
Yeah, that Sleeping Beauty one and the Little Mermaid one kind of blew my mind. But Richard,
let the blood flow, Ariel.
Get your fins back. Well, what do you have for some Richard's closing thoughts as we tidy up this grim episode?
Stories are not always what we think they are. And for some reason, about almost 200 years ago, cooking and eating children was apparently widely accepted. And I'm glad that is no longer the case. So don't eat your kids. And Prince Charming in general is an idiot.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. And we always like to thank our two patrons, the two people we would never cook or leave out in the woods, Wendy and Aaron.
We always wish you a happily ever after.
Love it. All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm good, sir.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a why
not.
Don't eat your kids.
And they podcasted happily ever after.
Oh, that was nice.
I've been saving that since episode 3.